So welcome to the Resist Trump campaign's town hall meeting. It is January 16th, 2026. My name is Nevin Kay, and I'm the director of the Resist Trump campaign, and it is such a pleasure to be with you here today. At the Resist Trump campaign, we coach activists to lead lawful, nonviolent civil resistance to Trump and his enablers. I've been fortunate just today to meet with an activist over Facebook Messenger who's interested in starting their own group to begin lawful nonviolent civil resistance of Trump in Central Texas. That activist reached out because they were feeling, I believe, a little bit anxious about getting started. Maybe it's new to them, and that's what we're here for. I was fairly new to activism, like brand new to activism in November 2024 when I started this group. And since that time, I've met so many interesting people. I've had so many interesting conversations, experiences, and I've grown so much as a human being. And we want to bring that experience to you for something that is so important and crucial in our society, in our country, in the world right now, which is the presidency of Donald Trump. I want to show you a little bit about what it's like to make an impact in the media based on the simple act of protest. So what I'll do is share the link to this, to this slide. And I don't think the sound will play, unfortunately. We're still going to work that out. But you will see if you click this link later, or now, that when you do protest work, it gets attention. And getting attention of your neighbors, your friends, family, makes a real difference in the work that we're doing. It changes the narrative, and it begins to change the arc of the world, or the moral arc of the universe, as someone famous may have said. So, we got a pop-up. You can see here on this link that we held a protest in Austin downtown through our affiliate Resist Austin, which I helped to start in January 2025, February 2025. And we got quite a bit of recognition from the news in Austin. We got a media article or media video created for us, and several months later, after a tragic incident, we were well known and established as a group that people trusted, and were able to see our name and come to our protest when things got a little bit more serious, or a lot more serious, and a tragedy happened in Minneapolis. 500 people came to that protest that we held last weekend in honor of Renee Good. I want to invite Britt to come on stage to read a poem in honor of Ms. Good, who was murdered at the hands of ICE just last week. Britt, you want to come on stage?
Hello, everyone. Are you able to hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Great. So I wanted to read a poem called The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus, and a portion of it actually sits at the base of the Statue of Liberty. It's a beautiful message. Give me one, sorry. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is in prison lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities fame. Keep ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send those, the homeless, the tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
Thank you so much, Britt, for that read. This town hall is we're doing this town hall in honor of the memory of Ms. Good, and all of those who have suffered tremendous tragedies, the survivors of those victims, the victims themselves, their families and their friends, and their neighbors. that are suffering at the hands of the Trump regime. Why don't we do a 1 minute moment of silence in honor of Ms. Good? We're also going to read about the First Amendment, which represents the United States' freedom of expression, an internationally recognized human right, if not the most important or one of the most important human rights outside of the right to live. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. If you've got a grievance, say I do in the chat. Thank you. Mr. Trump, there's a few grievances that we need to tell you about. So what do we do here at the Resist Trump campaign? Well, we seek a thriving democracy free from authoritarian control. That's the vision that we're seeking, and we'll get there. We're implementing something that's been used for millennia, nonviolent civil resistance, and we're doing so in a lawful way to Trump and his enablers. The principles that we're following in this campaign are collaboration, integrity, nonpartisanship, professionalism, and hope. And you can learn more about those on our website. Our campaign is a complex operation, and you can see that, as we diagram it out, almost like a system, we have inputs like volunteer time, like the people that you'll meet on this call, who are largely volunteers. I think all of them are volunteers. We have also funding that goes towards things like technology, like the Zoom subscription that we're using currently, and other things as well. You can find a link to this at our materials on our website. And you can see that we use those inputs to generate outputs, which are our activist offerings. And they go through different teams and different processes and things like that. I come from a organizational consulting background, and it's my passion to build organizations and to help them thrive. And it's a real honor to be building this one right now. So I'm going to invite my colleagues to join me on stage. Astrid, Aaron, Nicole, Julia, Akim. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
First, Astrid's going to share about the organizing team, and then Astrid, as you hand it off, just if you wouldn't mind just saying the name and the title of the slide that comes after you, if that's okay.
That's fine as long as you put up the new slide.
I will.
Great. So my name's Astrid, and I've been a member of the organizing team for almost a year now. So I've also helped run the occasional meeting when Nevin has been unable to attend. And the purpose of the organizing team is to deliver on Resist Trump's mission. We help to plan and organize on new projects, check in on in-progress projects. We also discuss things like there's this new group. Do we think we should partner with them? There's an upcoming protest. What can we do to help with that? So we pretty much just do a lot of that discussion, always with a positive attitude. It's always been a great group of people to work with. Lots of brainstorming, the occasional critique, but always in a friendly manner. So we have a good time, but we do work very hard. And we also tend to help with those projects. So if there's copy editors needed and someone can help with that. Or the other day, we were talking about our store and someone's like, oh, well, I have experience doing some more of this. So the person who's running the store said, great, I'd love your help. So we do that to help make sure that people are getting the help they need for those projects and ideas. And then we also make sure that work gets passed on to the appropriate other groups, such as marketing and technology and some of the other ones that do a lot of great and important work too. So that's all I have on that. Next up, we have the marketing team.
Thanks, Astrid.
Thank you, Astrid. Yeah, I'm Akam D. I'm also with the campaign for, I think, almost a year or coming up on a year. I wonder what triggered that about a year ago. I'm a pro bono advisor to the campaign, and I'm on the marketing team and the strategy and risk team, which we'll talk about next. And guess what we're doing in the marketing team? We're doing marketing. And as my lookalike there on the slide shows. So the charter of the team or purpose of the team is to build the public awareness, for the Resist Trump campaign and kind of the activities that, the organizing team and others are driving. There's five-ish of us lately, maybe more, 7 or so. We have a few great interns that started lately. We always have, active conversations about what to do, and they're very action-oriented, right? So we do talk strategy sometimes too, right? But it is a tactical meeting to get shit done, as they call it. That's kind of the intent of the marketing team, is to get stuff done, to get our social channels going, to get people to the various activities, the meetings, the protests, the local as well as national activities that we're driving. So that's the marketing team. And then I'm going to cover one more team on behalf of our friend Matt Kay, who unfortunately was sick but put this beautiful slide together for the strategy, risk, and people team. And I bet nobody can think of what that team might be doing. But yes, it is strategy, risk, and people topics. Strategy, right? So we do have, we're a fairly young organization, right? A year and 3 months old or so. We have growing pains, right? Just like any other young organization or startup has. We have fundamental questions that we have, should we go in this direction? Should we go in that direction? Should we partner with this organization or that? What kind of people do we need to bring on board, right, to keep us growing, that kind of stuff? And what are some of the risks that we're facing as an organization, as our dear government, takes certain actions and so forth? Yeah, what are some risks that we can indemnify ourselves from and so forth? And then Nevin in particular has a penchant for bringing in thorny questions. So things that he has encountered, right, in the discussions with other of the advisors or other of the volunteers and so on, of, hey, what if we were to do that? Or what if we were to do this? And so this is kind of the team that brings that in. And both teams could use more people. We can always use more capable, motivated, interesting people who want to contribute to the cause. So if either marketing or strategic risk people is your shtick, shoot us an email and we'll see if you can join one of these teams. And with that, I'm handing it over to, who am I handing it over to? Britt, I think.
Thanks, Aku.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm from Houston, if I didn't mention that earlier. I've been involved with Resist Trump campaign for about 4 months now. I love it. I've been in a lot of different teams, and I think I found my home in the development team. So the development team, our primary focus is to fundraise. It's necessary for the continuation of the campaign, and unfortunately, there are associated costs with doing that. We take a very collaborative approach in our fundraising. Everyone has an opinion, everyone has a voice, everyone's ideas are equally heard. It's a very, very nice experience to be involved in a actual, truly collaborative process. That's allowed us to come up with different ways to identify what we believe will be most effective in our strategy. So we have grassroots fundraising. It's one way. Another way, major gifts. And the third is our merch store. Um, I think my favorite thing about development is not only the collaboration and the teamwork, but also the emphasis on integrity that we place. If we are asking people to contribute into a cause that we believe in, we need to show you how trustworthy we are, how good our systems are, what protections we offer, and the value that we offer, as well as where your money is going. So an example of that would be things like our paid interns, office space, technology. Those things just add up. It's great to be a part of something that's being built from the ground up. We have big dreams and a very clear path to get there. And hopefully, you guys are going to gain some good information from today.
Thank you so much, Brett. Aaron.
And so, kind of speaking to exactly what Britt was talking about, we're going to talk about the technology team. My name is Erin. I'm a volunteer, been about 7 months now, and kind of on the lot of involvement in all the teams. I primarily focus on strategy and risk development as well, and the technology team. I'm based out of Ventura, California, and I have a long background in all kinds of different tech. So as you see on my slide, it takes a lot to run an organization. It takes a lot to create content, put it on social media. It takes a lot to manage resources and build things. And so all these different applications and platforms, they all need sometimes to be evaluated for appropriateness, or if it's worth it, if it's something that we can use, or if it's even not being used by our organization effectively. All of that needs to go through human filters, and that's what this awesome team is. We're not super technical, nitty-gritty software builders or anything like that. It's a great collaborative team of individuals who use the technology that we are evaluating and talking about. So we want to make sure that we're identifying the best platforms out there for us to be working with, all the applications that are going to give us like the best features, best options, but also be aware that, we need to do this on a budget. And we also recommend any of the new like software that we've brought on board. We recommend like ways to make sure that we utilize it effectively. So whether that is making ground rules about how we use it, or changing some settings and modifying that way. But essentially, our job is to make sure that this organization is successful. And we know that being successful is going to rely so heavily on all of our technology, whether it's something that the public interacts with, or if it's something we are using to build this organization, that it all has to be as like 100% strong as possible. So that's what we do. And it's kind of fun. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Guys, let's please join me in giving our team a round of applause for their heroic efforts on this campaign. Most of the folks you're looking at, as their titles say, are volunteers, most of whom have full-time jobs and are doing this literally out of the goodness of their heart. So thank you so much, volunteers, and I'm so privileged and honored to be working with you. Well, we wanted to shift a little bit and show you an interlude on some of our social media channels, because we're just now kind of experimenting with a bit of fun and trying to capture the fun and creativity in some of the work that we do. So you can see here that we've got a TikTok video that you can find on our TikTok channel, and we've got actually another TikTok there. So I want to invite you to go to our TikTok. I think sound's not working on this webinar today. Unfortunately, we're still trying to work that out. But in any case, you can see that Akim has put the TikToks in the chat. And so I wanted to, just invite you to check them out when you get a chance. They shouldn't take too long. It's like 1 minute, 2 minute videos. Whoops. And do check them out when you get a chance. In the meantime, we'll do a quick chat waterfall. A chat waterfall looks like this. So I'm gonna pose a question, yeah? And when I pose a question, I want you to think about it for like 15 seconds, maybe type it in, but don't hit enter. And this is for all the audience members in attendance. Don't hit enter. I'll give a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all do it at the same time. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So why don't we do this? If you could say anything to Donald Trump, anything in, I don't know, 5 words or less, anything to Donald Trump, what would it be? I'll give you 20 seconds starting now. And after 20 seconds, I'll give you a 5-second countdown starting now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got a few in there. Love it. Thanks, guys, for doing that little exercise with me. So we're going to tell you a little bit about our recent work now, reviewing the last quarter. So I know it's kind of, very, it probably sounds very corporate, but many organizations, many nonprofits also are concerned about quarterly, activities. And we feel like this is a decent way to show our key stakeholders like you who are here today and who are watching it on YouTube and elsewhere, how we're doing and where we're going, what are the things that are important for us to survive, and most importantly, how you can get involved with this campaign. So we're going to start by talking about one of the inputs on that logic model that I showed you earlier, that big kind of map. Very technically speaking, like an organization is like a system, right? And many systems, like like a sound system, requires power to put out beautiful music. The beautiful music we put out is resistance, but what powers it, first of all, are our campaign members, like the campaign volunteers that you just met. We have different roles in the campaign, like pro bono advisors, like Akim, who leads the marketing who spoke to the marketing and strategy teams. We've got many campaign volunteers who you also saw, and we are growing. Although it shows you that we had 16 at the end of last quarter, I think we already have 20, or maybe 20, even 22, 23 volunteers on the campaign now. We're getting new applications every week. We're trying to process them as quickly as possible and integrate those campaign members and volunteers as quickly as possible as well. As far as funding goes, the campaign operating costs have grown because we have been more serious. In the first quarter when this all started, I think the only cost was like a subscription to Meetup. And then I think it changed to, subscription to Mobilize. And then, we grew in terms of, speaking to experts who experts in nonviolent civil resistance and organizing and distributed organizing, who helped us plan a strategy for how the next few months and years could look. And certainly they didn't give us a blueprint. We're improvising literally every week. But that improvisation and experimentation is fun. And I think it's natural in the course of starting a new entity with an uncertain challenge and mandate ahead of it that's never been done before. You can see a big jump from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, and I think some of that had to do with some of the new expenses that we had over that quarter. As we get more serious as an organization, we are ramping up in terms of expenses, and I will tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. But that's what our expenses look like, and what's called our run rate. That's like a quarterly run rate. That's like a kind of a technical term for how much we spend every quarter. As far as event attendance is sort of like one of the outputs of our system, right? Some of the things we look at, like the beautiful sound, right? The beautiful sound of activists speaking in our meetings. That ties to event attendance. And you'll see that the core training, probably jumps out really quickly as kind of an outlier. We held a core training over the summer. That was a live webinar series in the third quarter that got almost 1,500 attendees, or 1,500 signups, I should say, from activists in our ecosystem. But if you just take that, and I believe maybe some of the people who are in this room probably were part of that core training. But in any case, you can find that core training on our homepage of our website. It's just down the row or the ladder that's on the homepage. And you can see also that the rest of the quarter was good. You know, we Resistance School had a little dip in terms of attendance. I think the book that we read was just a little bit different than the one we read prior. Maybe that was it. I'm not sure what it was, to be honest with you. I think we had fewer meetings because of the holidays and things like that. But orientation saw a jump. Organizers table, you know, didn't see as much of a jump. But then we introduced these new national mini campaigns that we're really proud of, particularly Ice Out, because that's, you know, probably the biggest problem in America today. As well as Boycott Elon, which has shifted to Boycott MAGA, which will soon maybe shift to Boycott Home Depot as it gets more specific. Stop the Lies Fox. So we're really focusing on some of the pillars that are supporting the Trump regime, and we want to resist them and induce defections of loyalists in those pillars. We also had the town hall last quarter as well. We're just getting our donation, you know, approach to encouraging donations started, right? And I'll tell you right now that this, as you can see, this campaign does cost money to run. And so as far as outside donations go, outside of the initial kind of, you know, donations that came in, the donations that we've received have been pretty minimal, and we do depend on all of you out there in the audience and all of your friends and family, all the people who are watching this on YouTube. We need you guys to consider donating to us to do the work that we do, and we hope that we'll make you proud with the work that we do with your trusted gifts. As far as our online traction goes, that's what we measure in terms of our members in our online communities like Discord and Facebook, our followers on social media, and our subscribers. It has grown steadily. It certainly was growing quite a bit at the beginning of the year last year, but it kind of tapered off. But we're so excited to be jumping back into social media with some new skills and talents, both from paid interns as well as from some of the new activists have come into our spaces and lended us their skills. We know that content and really reaching people around the world with the message that we have in creative and unique ways is really important, and we take it seriously. So certainly not where we want to be. I think we've talked many times about 10xing our you know, our online traction, but it's up to us to figure out how to do that. And we welcome your comments and suggestions on how we can do it better. Ultimately, though, we're here again to coach activists to lead lawful, nonviolent civil resistance to Trump and his enablers. And you can see that this activist said the following: not only am I learning a lot in each of these sessions I attend, but I'm also heartened to have found a group that seems to understand the urgency of the moment. And it is urgent, my friends, and I'm sure you know that, and the importance of doing more than blocking the regime. I belong to my local indivisible group and will stay active in it. But much more must be done if we're going to save our democracy and our country. And I hope you would agree. Another activist said, "This was very informative and helpful. I only wish I had found out about this group and its training sooner." Thank you. I really appreciate learning the theory behind resistance movements and being part of a community of like-minded individuals. This was probably a resistance school attendee. It was great to actually do something to fight back. I enjoyed being with like-minded folks and made some new friends. People make friends in our spaces, and that's amazing to see that and to watch it grow. Another activist said, "It was good to read on strategy and reflect on what tactics are most effective in community organizing." That was probably a attendee in a resistance school. "I mostly just wanted to learn, but I left inspired to action of some sort. Your explanation of the goals and values was important to me, and the distinction between resistance and civil disobedience was a new thought. Finally, I gain more confidence, information, motivation, and direction when I participate and always invite and share." Literally exactly what we're hoping to do in terms of the impact that we're making. So here's another interlude. I'm not sure if we can do the video as we were hoping to do, but I'll give you a little story, and maybe Akim or one of the members backstage can share the link in the chat. The story behind this video is that on Elon Musk's birthday, which I think took place in like late April or late May or something like that of last year, I helped lead an action outside of a Tesla store and gallery in South Austin where I was living at the time. And that's me with the red hat and the black shirt. And we're holding a piñata of a Cybertruck. And at that video that that I believe may be in the chat, or that you can find on the social media of resistaustin.us. You can find very easily the video, which is just hilarious. And it's a bunch of activists in Austin just beating the heck out of a Cybertruck. And that's really, an example in my mind of strong creative resistance, having fun, enjoying yourselves, and showing the world that we don't support fascism in this country. We fight it creatively, nonviolently, and lawfully. So we had a little party, Elon's birthday party outside of a Tesla store, and it was a lot of fun. I encourage you to check out the video. Akim just put that in the chat. And you can, if you're on YouTube, you can find it at ResistAustin.us's Instagram page, which is on its homepage. All right, we're going to keep going. So let's go. Actually, how about this? How about this? Let's do another chat waterfall. Okay, so I'm going to give you 20 seconds. And why don't you answer the following question? What would be a good question? If someone has a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Yeah, how about that? Let's do this. What would be a good chat waterfall question for right now? That is the question for the chat waterfall. So it's kind of meta. I'll give you 20 seconds to think of a question for the world to consider when it comes to the Trump regime. It's kind of meta. So take 20 seconds and I'll do a 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I see. How can you continue to turn a blind eye? What's your best way to find joy? What a great question. Great, 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 great. Love the questions. Thank you, guys. So next we're going to talk about, where we're going with this campaign. You've heard about where we've come from. We're still a startup, right? But we feel like we're making more impact literally every week that we do this work. So first of all, the most important thing for us is to strengthen the campaign, right? Like we're getting stronger, we're building the muscle, we're getting stronger, but we're also helping activists get stronger, which is one of the key outcomes that we look for. And in doing so, attracting talented volunteers is number one on the list of how we can do more effective work to reach that vision of thriving democracy free from authoritarian control. Outside of attracting talented folks like the folks that you just met, we're also refining our activist offerings. We have a number of activist offerings that include, Resistance School, which we're getting better at facilitating every week. Our weekly Ice Out call, that is just an honor to facilitate and meet activists that are doing incredible, heroic work. And a number of other activist offerings like the podcast that we are trying to release on a weekly basis called Rise and Resist. And you'll see other things coming through the pipeline as well. But as far as our existing activist offerings, the Ice Out call, Resistance School, orientation, we consider each of those activist offerings. We're also trying to improve our processes as we grow. One of the recent processes that we introduced was a campaign volunteer onboarding program, in which campaign volunteers now have kind of like a 6-week ramp-up period where they're connected with a campaign buddy. They connect with the Human Liberty Project, our parent corporation's chief of staff, and they also connect with me, the director of this campaign. And that's just an example of one aspect of that volunteer onboarding program that we just want to implement so that campaign volunteers feel comfortable, safe, and able to do incredible work that they were meant to do all along. We also plan to release a number of new offerings like the ones that you see on this page. And so I want to invite the folks to speak about these offerings to come up on stage so we can tell the audience a little bit about them. All right, welcome guys. So I'm going to lead off by telling you guys a little bit about our podcast. We have a Rise and Resist podcast. I encourage you to check it out. Myself and one of our pro bono advisors, Matt Kesters, who's a professional journalist, who's now the founder of Fortified Democracy, or a former journalist who's now the founder of Fortified Democracy, a great nonprofit that you'll be able to find if you Google it. It's been a fun time. We just released our third episode, and we interviewed most recently Vanessa Kay, who's an organizer in the Fox Takedown campaign based in Florida. So hopefully that you activists out there will find inspiration from those interviews, and we want to just help educate, excite, and motivate you to do the work that's so critical right now for our country. And I'm going to hand it over to Nicole to share a little bit about the Nonviolent Action Fellowship.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Nicole. I'm chief of staff here and I work part time. And again, just so grateful to hear about all the great things that we're doing and excited to have you all join us again. And thanks again to our amazing volunteers. Love you guys. But the Nonviolent Action Fellowship is 12 weeks, and it is a self-paced program, and it links live connection moments and connection time with the asynchronous learning, which is the self-paced curriculum. So you can kind of do it at your own time, and then we'll have weekly meets that we kind of talk about different things that happen inside of the curriculum. And then with each moment of the week, we have like week 4, there's going to be an assignment. Week 8, there's an assignment. And so there's different assignments where you get to actually like practice and put into place what you've learned. One of those things is like organizing a meeting in your community. One of them is organizing a protest. And so there are specific tactics to help push our goals forward together and make, this world a better place. And so it's a really great opportunity to have like peer learning and just learn from each other and build community together, make friends as well. And I'm also a credentialed coach, and so I will be doing some one-on-one coaching, and Nevin will do that as well. So there's some great coaching for leadership opportunities as well. And then as we grow, you will be a part of this alumni network in this fellowship program. And so it's a really great opportunity, and just really excited to kind of like develop these chapters and develop groups of actions, and we're going to be calling them resist pods. And so, I hope you guys join us, and kind of a little bit about that. It's 12 weeks. And yeah.
Awesome. When is that going to start, Nicole? Like when do we expect this program to launch?
Probably in April or May.
Nice. Cool. And thank you so much for doing the thinking that you've done on this, and for leading that program.
Thank you.
Let's hear from next Julia P.
All right. So this is an example of some of the type of leadership and engagement that we're trying to create within the campaign. Inevitably, there's been some mention, I know, in the chat of making sure that our representatives are informed of the type of things that we want to change. But we're trying to go beyond that in terms of trying to also educate and inform and engage all of the people of the United States that might not quite know what to do or how to do it. And this is one of those ways. We're creating a petition. It's been one of the group activities, like Astrid talked about earlier, in which we are writing about the types of wrongs that we feel that Trump has done, in order to circulate that and show strength in numbers about why we are against Trump. And ultimately, the goal would be that he resigns, and this would be something that could play a part in that. So this is just an example of those types of activities, and we're happy to continue to have more volunteers and brainstorm more of those types of activities. I'm sure there'll be more petitions as well.
Thank you, Julia. Can't wait to get this petition out there. All of you guys in the audience here, live and on YouTube later, please help us by sharing this petition when it does come out. We want to build this literally to the moon, because we know, and we've seen the research, and we know from our own eyes and from our own hearts that people want Trump to resign. Help us get there. Please, we need you. Astrid, would you like to talk about our toolkit coming up?
Yes. So I am very excited about this project. I promise I'll keep it short. This is our How to Host a Lawful Protest Toolkit. And it's basically a guide with a lot of information, a lot of really wonderful information, but we're trying to make it very clean and organized and easy to read and utilize. So it will contain information on planning the protest, what to do during the protest, and after your protest. It's an all-in-one detailed guide with the idea of having information and tips for all of those aspects. We've based it mostly for people who are newer to hosting protests. That's kind of who we've aimed it at, but there's still useful information for people who've planned protests. One of my favorite sections is on permits, and actually on liability. And I was like, liability is a thing, you need liability. So it's been a really fun learning experience for me. So we've done a really good job of trying to organize it to make it really easy to use. So we've got chapters and divisions. We do our best to like highlight certain things, but also make it really readable. We've got a little executive summary with a quick tips guide so that if you don't want to read the whole thing, you can read the quick tips and just get what you need out of it. And each section that has like guidelines, especially in the planning section of like what needs to be done, there's little boxes of what to do at the end of each section to kind of help people. And we're also going to have worksheets and checklists and stuff as well. So hopefully a little something for everyone, but we're really excited to help get this to the people who are ready to start planning their own protests.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Astrid, for the work that you've
Yeah.
done on this toolkit. I have to tell you out in the audience, we are not professional activists. We are all volunteers, and in my case, and I think in most of the cases of the people on this campaign, not in every case, uh, we're just doing this for the first time. We're just, Americans who are appalled with what's going on, and we're just trying to make a difference. Most toolkits that professional activists have produced are like 10 pages or less. I think we're going to call this a guide. We might call this a guide, Astrid, because I think what you'll find, audience members, is this is going to be almost like a Bible or a reference that you can look at and really pass on to your to your family and friends to learn all the different aspects about protests. And I'm so excited to release for us to release it.
Yeah, that was one thing we really wanted to make sure we did was that because when I started looking at stuff, I kept having to look at more and more sources. And this is kind of an all-in-one place. You don't have to go to 1,000 other sources to get the questions you need answered, which we're really excited about.
Thanks again, Astrid. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about our fundraising plans, and I think I'll probably do most of the section because with Britt, who I've been working with, we've been working on fundraising. So as far as fundraising goes, we recently decided to kind of relocate the campaign to Washington, D.C. There's a number of interested parties here that we're excited to connect with and just kind of share our story with and see if they connect to that. Obviously it's the seat of our nation's capital, and there are a number of new opportunities that arise just by virtue of being here. I'm actually hosting an action through our partner Free America, which is doing a national walkout this Tuesday at 2 p.m. local time. If you haven't heard of it, I encourage you to check it out at Free America. Just Google Free America by the Women's March. And I'm hosting an action at Franklin Park at 2 p.m. Super excited about it. And just being here, we think, will help connect us to people who really know the urgency of the moment, the applicability of lawful nonviolent civil resistance, and believe in us. And I do believe that we will meet the kinds of people that we are destined to meet by being here. We still depend on you guys, though. These grassroots donations like, small donations, monthly recurring donations make a real difference. And they pay for things, again, like the Zoom that you're looking at, but more importantly, like those inputs that I talked about, not just volunteers, but also staff members. We are so blessed to have, interns who have joined us with incredible creative skills and management skills and organizing skills. And so we really depend on donations from the folks here in the audiences that you can make just kind of by skipping a few coffees a month or something like that. So please do check us out. And there's probably a link in the chat for our campaign. And folks, volunteers, campaign members, if you could please put the link to our Q1 2026 fundraiser in the chat. I think audience members, you'll find a hilarious video, or actually a very high quality video that was produced by a volunteer on our campaign that's on the page itself that says, but only on day one. Next, we're getting into merchandise sales. So ice fuera means ice out. And we don't have this, I think, don't we have this particular product up on our website, on our store yet, which is live, but is still kind of, we're working through it. So we're trying to stand up a merchandise shop so that, folks like yourselves can, donate a little bit in terms of the profit margin that comes from the sales of the products that we do. But also just take something with you to essentially build the movement even further towards our eventual goal, which is Trump's resignation. And so by telling the world that you want ice out, it helps us just a little bit more. And we do hope that you'll check out our store once we really get it up and live and running. I think you can expect that probably within 6 weeks or so. Next, we are looking to develop another aspect of fundraising. If you don't know what fundraising what fundraising opportunities there are out there. We think of fundraising in terms of kind of 3 different stools. And if you're an activist out there starting your own local campaign, your own resistance campaign to Trump, think of this too, right? Maybe you sell your own merch. Maybe you, look for grassroots donations, but also, gifts from from generous philanthropists. Those make a huge difference. And that's the third area that we're hoping to cultivate by developing relationships with philanthropists that have a generous heart and an urgency and a strong commitment to American democracy. If you're out there, we really, really, really hope to meet you and to speak about democracy when you can. So we're now reached the most important part of, in my view, the most important part of the town hall, which is how you can get involved. So we've actually moved pretty fast. So hopefully we have a few questions here in the audience today. But as far as how you can get involved, the highest impact thing that you can do, remember, right? Our purpose, don't forget, we coach activists to lead lawful, nonviolent civil resistance to Trump and his enablers. And the highest impact you can do is start organizing your friends, family, and neighbors right where you are. And so by hosting a local get-together, you can make a huge difference because you'll bring people together. And the 3 R's of organizing will start to take shape. There's this beautiful video that's in our core training called the 3 R's of organizing, right? What are the 3 R's of organizing? And this was from someone far more experienced than me that came from a lineage of organizers, right? Relationships, right? Relationships matter because relationships build trust and relationships allow you to do effective work together and collaborate based on values that you share. Resources. People have resources. Some people have time. Some people have money. Some people have creativity. Some people have ideas. Some people have equipment, right? And all of those things matter because we can't do this alone. There's no way we can do this alone, but together we can. And when you host a local get-together, you can bring people together so that they can build relationships, build trust, and pool resources, because when you pool resources, you build power. And then finally, the last interesting, in my view, R of organizing is reciprocity, according to this one speaker that's in our core training. Reciprocity, what does that mean? So by reciprocity, we're thinking about, not only do people have resources and they're looking to build relationships, but they're also looking to improve their own lives in some way, right? Some people are looking for friends. Some people need a job. Some people are just looking for a hobby. Some people are looking to resist in an effective and memorable way. And so reciprocity is important, right? You want to meet people where they are and help get them to where they want to be. That's what reciprocity means to me in that context. So do consider hosting a local get-together, and it's so easy. All you got to do is go to our website, go to resisttrump.us, where you can see our credo right on the homepage, and then just scan down to the bottom, and you can go to that link that says host a local get-together. And literally within 5 minutes, you can post it on an event platform that is highly likely to attract activists from your local area to just show up, maybe at a library, maybe at a park, maybe at a coffee shop, and get your group started. You can call it whatever you want. And we really encourage you to consider hosting a local get-together to get that process started, because it'll make a huge impact in the movement and it'll be more likely that what craziness that we're all experiencing will cease to experience anymore. Great. So hosting a local get-together, I'll say it one last time. Please do consider it. We also want to welcome you if you're interested in remote volunteering, just like all of us are, remotely volunteering on this call. None of us are in the same room, which is like one of the modern marvels of technology today. Think about volunteering with our campaign. We would love to have you as a member of the team. I think you can probably tell by now that we're quite serious about working effectively together. And so please do, consider applying by going again to our website. At the very bottom, right below hosting a local get-together is probably the second highest impact action you can take, which is to volunteer remotely with us. We're now requesting that volunteers or prospective volunteers commit to 5 hours a week, which could be as simple as your lunch break every day of the week. And given the urgency of the moment in America, we really, really, really hope that you consider it. And then next, let's look at outside of volunteering with our campaign, donating to our campaign. I've mentioned this a few times. That's probably the third most high impact thing you can do. Please do check out that grassroots fundraising website, which is a crowdfunding website. One thing to remember, because of our status as a 501c4, your donations are anonymous if you choose them to be. But if you choose for them not to be, that also sends a message to this regime that you're serious and you're willing to put your name on the line to show them that you're willing to fund this campaign. That makes a difference. And we'll hope that, if you choose to remain anonymous through this mechanism, we will preserve your anonymity. But if you don't, and you choose to put your name on it, we appreciate you. And Akim's going to tell you about the fourth way that you can make a difference, even right now on our website. Akim?
Yeah. And I sent it to the wrong group, but in the chat you will find all the links to our various social media channels now. And if you want something, just for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes even, that I think everybody has, and if you feel comfortable, right, on sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting, and so on, with your own social media accounts. So we'd love for you to follow us, right? We'd love for you. There are various channels, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, etc. Take a look and follow us, like us, get our message, help get the message out about the Resist Trump campaign and the activities that we do. That's kind of a low barrier engagement, right? That everybody should be able to do. Again, should you be willing to put your name out there and use your own social media accounts. And last, and I put this in the chat, there is Nevin just showed our homepage, right? The resisttrump.us. Towards the bottom of that homepage is a email link, or an email box rather, where you can sign up right there, add your email address to find out, right? And that's our weekly, usually sometimes twice a week if there are certain topics and so on, but mostly weekly, I believe, Nevin, right? Newsletter that goes out and has information about the activities that we do, all the different calls and protests and the like, and how you can engage with us. So we hope you can join us there on social media, and if not, ideally more like being a volunteer on the campaign and participating in calls and the like. With that, I'll hand it back to Nevin.
Thank you, Akim. And guys, Akim is one of our likers and on our social media posts. So if you want to play a little game of Where's Akim, just check out some of our Blue Sky posts or go into our Discord and just try and see if you could find him and tag him and say, I found you. Also, I want to shout out to one of our recent campaign members, Julia C., who's also been liking our posts on Blue Sky and elsewhere. Guys, it makes a huge difference if you engage with our content, share it with your friends, get the message out. It'll help our campaign succeed. And it's a really easy way to do so, right? Just follow us on your favorite platforms, engage with us, tell us how to do it better. Tell us what else you'd like to see. And we'll be happy to engage and redirect the campaign in ways that are productive and meaningful, right? We think of this as a public instrument. We are a social welfare organization. We are a nonprofit. And we believe that we are improving the world, but we can't do it alone. We can do it with you. So definitely subscribe, share, like, comment, but also advise. Give perspective in the comments and share to the rest of the world that if you believe in us, why you believe in us. So finally, we're going to do a question and answer session. So we wanted to just invite folks in the audience to raise their hands if they would like. I believe that function is now ability is, excuse me, is enabled. If anyone has any questions, feel free to raise them now. Or if you would want, we can also allow you to talk on the screen, and we'd be happy to engage with you. If anyone has a question, feel free to raise your hand now. And if you can't, then tell me in the chat that you cannot. Oh, I see that Jen has raised their hand. Jen, let me see if I can allow you to talk. Talking permitted. Please proceed, Jen.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering if we're sharing social posts, are we sharing only from what you're doing like today forward, or can we go back into previous posts and share those as well?
Please share them from the very inception. Don't worry about just sharing recent content, I think is Jen's question, if I'm not
Correct.
mistaken, Jen.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to go back on our posts and just check us out. And if something jumps out at you from the past, check it out, like it, subscribe, that helps too, because we have a historical record of posts that matter. I think what you're going to find is our more recent content is going to be more engaging. The old stuff is just me kind of in a basement, hankering around my keyboard. But do check it out, and yeah, by no means is it poor if you check out some of our old content. Thanks for the question. Let's go over to Heath. Heath, I see your hand is up. I'm gonna hit allow to talk. Go for it. I think you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I may have missed it, so I apologize. But the merch that you were showing,
Yeah.
um, who was making that, or who was, I don't know, where's that coming from?
Yeah, so there's a volunteer designer in our ecosystem designed that particular design. And we, again, we depend heavily on activists with different skills. The great thing about, activism is that it just builds a network of trusted friends. And that was a design that came to us. It was an activist in our ecosystem.
Sure. I guess what I was trying to, I don't know, just an idea I was thinking of, but it seems like a good way for people to maybe be able to contribute if they don't necessarily, want to kind of do all that stuff. Is that, I mean, I know a ton of artists, and especially there's big local scenes in every city and whatnot. That is there not some way to set up a side gig for people so maybe they get a small, maybe a little budget for some of the donations or something that we get in terms of like being able to hand it to the artist so they can actually make a little something super small like on the side, but at least they can maybe get uh they can get something for their art that they submit, and then that can go to the merch, and then it can kind of become like a self-feeding sort of community thing where everyone can kind of get their stuff out in like a nice way and, have a little side gig and something like that, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And Heath, I love the idea, right? If I could rephrase it or restate Heath's idea, it's basically, like, can you give a little cut to artists who give you awesome designs? And the answer is hell yeah. If you're an artist out there, Heath, thanks for the idea, and you want to help us with some of these designs and you feel like you deserve a cut, you know what? We'll make a deal with you. I'm happy to do that. Art is so important in resistance, and if that helps us and we can help you, let's freaking do it, guys. So let's do it. And please reach out to us and let us know how you want to work with us. We're happy to work something out. I know that the life of an artist is not the easiest one, and I respect it. And I know the value of it, not only in the course of human life or the course of the human experience, but also in resistance work. Art is crucial. It has made such a big difference in the work that we do when artists come into our spaces and show us their skills. So thanks for the question, Heath. That was a great question. All right. I don't see any other questions. Does anyone have any questions, kind of going forward about the campaign or how we're doing things? Because I don't see any other raised hands, but maybe we did a good job today, maybe we didn't. I don't know. I do want to encourage you guys to do a couple things. So I just want to share a few closing thoughts with you, if it's okay. First of all, we are implementing lawful nonviolent civil resistance, which comes from a lineage of nonviolent civil resistance that goes even far beyond Mohandas Gandhi, far beyond the past, but certainly was punctuated by his presence in our human history 75 years ago in obtaining Indian independence for the country of India in 1947, I believe, 47, 48. That's Gandhi on the left, and hero of nonviolent civil resistance, whose shoulders we stand upon today here in America. Next to him is a great American hero, MLK Jr., whose statue stands tall here in Washington, D.C., and who we look for inspiration, and who are blessed to be able to refer to and reflect upon, knowing that his work did not go in vain and that it will not go in vain today. And on the right, we just have a representation of what we hope you will see in yourself, which is, a young woman with a bullhorn saying a message that maybe you can relate to. We don't know what she's actually saying, but maybe you can put a message there. Maybe we saw some of those messages in the chat today. But yeah, it is a long line that we are following. It worked for Gandhi, it worked for MLK, and it's going to work for us too, guys. Lawful nonviolent civil resistance can work, and we believe we can make it work. Well, I think that's all we've got. I want to invite all of my campaign members to join me on stage if you can, for one last goodbye, and then we can kind of wrap this call up. Campaign members, would you like to join me on stage? All right, I'm going to mute the folks who are unmuted. Or sorry, actually, you know what? Why don't we all, campaign members, if we could all come off of mute and we could just say goodbye to the audience. That'd be, I think, one way to do this. Why don't we say, yeah, why don't we all say one thing? Let's start with Astrid. Astrid, any final thoughts from you?
I would like to say I've really enjoyed working with this campaign. It's been great, both as a learning experience and an opportunity to do something about the state that our country is in. And so I hope that you all enjoyed today, and I hope you join us.
Thank you, Astrid. Let's go to Akim D, please. Akim, one last call to action or thought.
Sure. Get engaged, right? Stop the doom scrolling and get engaged. Do something about it. That was my mantra: is do something. And this is one of the outlets I found very fulfilling in terms of doing something. So do something. Whether it's with us or somebody else, but do something.
Aaron P.
Dang, it's hard to come behind Occam. That was inspiring. But I think to kind of expand on that, the best thing about this organization for me and why we say go do something, even if it's not with us, is because building something towards the future, it's priceless, and it gives you hope, and you can't extinguish that hope because you're bought into the process. Like, if you want to have hope, build something for the future.
Thanks, Aaron. Britt G.
Occam, you and I are like-minded. I was going to actually say the same. Being informed, sitting at home, sharing, reposting, yes, it does help. It helps, and we need to do a little more. You don't have to show up in person for events to volunteer, whether it's with us, anyone else. I can say that for me personally, becoming involved has really made a marked difference on how I'm able to approach this craziness that we're all living in here. So just do what you can, and everyone, please take care of yourselves also.
Thanks, Britt. Julia P.
I actually think I have a bridge to what Britt was saying. I was going to say that it's really hard to feel at any one moment that you're making change, whether you spent a minute or 60 hours in a week towards that goal. But it can be a lot easier to feel it when you're doing it with a group of other people who are working on it and experiencing the same frustrations and voicing and going through those together. So find that group, if it's us or somebody else.
And finally, to close it out, Nicole.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Julia said. Like, if you find a group that you're passionate about, whether it's us or someone else, getting in the streets, activating your neighbors, your family, your friends, yourself, that's what it's about. And that's what we're doing here together as a team. So come join our fellowship program and come join us if you feel so inclined. And yeah, keep fighting and keep pushing, and the right things will happen. So thank you guys for joining us on your Friday afternoon, evening. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Go to the Free America show, walkout on Tuesday, and we'll see you soon in the fight ahead. Take care.
Thanks, Nevin.
Thank you.
happens here.